Welcome back to another Diablo Immortal video. As many of you know, I promised you a Crusader build here on the channel, and today I am here with that courtesy of Why Try from the Revenant's Discord server. I was just playing as a Crusader, and honestly, it was not for me. I was not in love with the class, but there's many of you that are. So we put together an amazing build here for you today that we are going to completely break down so that you can understand it and make sure that you have the best experience with the Crusader and don't swap back to your class. So we have a little bit going on right here, and as you could notice, we're going to go through the skills, then all of the secondary gear, then the primary gear, and then I will read you some notes that I was given by Why Try, and we can kind of completely understand this build. So he's going with draw and quarter is the first skill. He's using Condemn. He's also utilizing consecration, and he's going with shield charge for a nice movement skill on top of the horse. And then sacred fire is the primary attack. Now, starting things out with the equipment, the secondary gear, he's going with a 4-piece Grace of the Flagellant. So that's going to give him all continual damage, channel damage, and persistent ground damage is increased by 15%. And because it's a 4-piece, each time you damage an individual enemy 5 times, you'll do 11,000 additional damage to that enemy. So Grace, we've seen it being used before. We've used it with the Barbarian before, and it's really important here with the Crusader. Keep in mind here that this Crusader build is not your typical Crusader build. There are definitely things different here that we'll get into later on. And then he's going with the 2-piece Vithus. Increase the duration of all your beneficial effects on you and your party members by 30%. So that's the set pieces that you're going to be looking for, crafting, trying to find in dungeons. Now let's get in here. He's utilizing a 4-star Bottled Hope, ranked up to a level 6. And the legendary change here, your consecration now moves with you, and the damage is increased by 12%. It's also worth noting, he's only been the Crusader for approximately 2 weeks now, and he's unlocked as many of the essences as he could, but this is still a bit of a work in progress for Why Try. And if you want to talk to him specifically about his build, ask him questions, you could do so in the comments below, or head on over to his Discord server, which I will be linking in the description of this video. Let's get on to the second piece of gear, which is going to be the chest piece. And as you can see, a 2-star rank 10 pain clasp, and the legendary attribute here now, Condemn now fills your soul with Valor's retribution for 5 seconds, causing every primary attack to unleash a lightning bolt at your target, dealing damage to all nearby enemies. The Condemn damage is increased by 12%, and then because it's an awakened piece of gear, you're getting Condemn damage increased again by another 10% for a total of 22% increased damage because of the awakening and because of that essence. Next, we're going to go into the shoulders. Draw and quarter duration is increased by 36%. Draw and quarter cooldown is decreased by 10%. All right, so nice job on another piece of awakened gear right there. Let's go into the pants next. Gloom Cask. He talked about how this gem was important for this build, and the change here that we're getting from the essence is draw and quarter mount becomes a fiery steed that burns the ground and enemies but no longer drags enemies. Draw and quarter damage is increased by 12%. That is my absolute favorite. Any burn type of damage, really with whatever class I'm utilizing, I absolutely love. It works really well here with the Crusader as well. Moving on to our primary weapon, this is going to be not the stance weapon. Rank 7 4-star Seeping Bile gem is inside of this one, and the legendary essence, Sacred Fire, now ignites enemies, burning them for 10,000 damage over 2 seconds. Damage is increased by 60%. Notice he's going for a burn build here, and we're going to see a lot of good farming that we're going to be able to use later on. Now we have another awakened gem right here, and as we can see, Condemn also unleashes bright light that blinds enemies for 1.5 seconds. Can't affect the same target more than once every 3 seconds though. Condemn damage because of the awaken is increased by 10% as well. Next, we have a blood-soaked jade in the stance primary slot, a 5-star, rank 7. Sacred Fire now also hurls waves of flames, dealing 2,800 damage to all enemies in their path, damage increased by 60%. And then the second and final piece of gear, the second stance gear, Blessed Pebble, rank 10. Awakened piece of gear now. Condemn, damage is increased by 3% for every enemy hit, up to a maximum of 21% increased damage, and the Condemn damage is increased by 10%. It's worth noting that yes, the gems do matter and they do help, but if you don't have the Seeping Bile or the Blood-Soaked Jade, there are other gems that you can use, or the Bottled Hope at that. There are other gems that are 2 and even 1-star gems that can replace them. You just have to kind of look and see what's going to benefit the essences in your build. So we have a lot of essences for the burn effect and for that continual damage with this build, similar to what we've seen with the Barbarian as well. And you're going to want to try and find gems that can kind of, enhance that experience if you don't have the gems that were shared here. Now we're going to get into some gameplay and some farming runs, basically multiple different loops that he goes through while he's, utilizing this build. While we do this, I'm going to go on over and I'm going to find out exactly the discussion that he shared with us on why this build works. He wrote me an essay, all of which I'll be leaving in the description. I don't even know if YouTube has the space for all of this text, but I'm going to read it to you right here. So this is the overview of his Crusader build. The Crusader build focuses on the 4-piece Grace set bonus while utilizing continual damage skills and gems that help reach the 5x damage counter sooner and more often. As you see, I basically run through everything, hitting each target at once to apply the DOT, damage over time, and just keep on going. As they follow me, the damage over time keeps on damaging them, counting forwards that 5 hits for 4-piece Grace set, and then the extra attack from the set bonus finishes them off. Not very high single target damage, but works tremendously well for the overworld farming, rifts, and bounties, a cursed tower, etc., making it very efficient to speed farm build. So that's what we're really looking at here. It's more of a PvE build. My guess here, for all you Crusader fans out there, because I know that there are a loyal bunch, he's going to be putting together, most likely, a PvP build as well that we'll be able to demonstrate and feature here on the channel. Skills, we already spoke about them, and now let's talk about some of the mechanics of the gameplay that he has here. The build is very easy to play. When Drawn Quarter is available, use it, and keep popping Condemn while you can for more added damage numbers. When Drawn Quarter ends, use Shield Charge for movement and Consecration for the big area of effect damage. Can use Condemn here as well whenever it's available. Then back to Drawn Quarter, rinse and repeat. And as you notice from the farming that we're seeing right here, he's going in circles, essentially just going around the area, damaging, collecting things as he goes back. He doesn't stop to pick up the resources. As you can see, I'm not using Holy Banner, which is something that a lot of people, and when I went to Crusader, it's the first thing I said. Why aren't you using Holy Banner? Because it's like the go-to skill for Crusader. And well, let's hear his reason. His reason is that I can get more constant damage output out of almost 100% uptime on Drawn Quarter. In the place of the staple Arrowkeeper headpiece for banner, I'm instead using Many-Eyed Aegis, which allows consecration to move with me. We spoke about this when we talked about the essences earlier in the video. This is essentially helpful once Drawn Quarter wears off, and I have roughly 2 seconds of downtime where I'm not dealing a lot of hits or burning anything. Keep in mind that having extra continual damage still means I'm counting more hits on each target to proc the 4-piece Grace set. Holy Banner would make me deal more damage per hit, no doubt, but still itself doesn't give any added hits to proc my set bonus, and it can't be active all the time either. In fact, to give Banner my extra duration with the Folly of Zakarum shoulders means I would have to reduce my duration on Drawn Quarter as well, since it makes the same shoulder slot for the Sikvet's advantage to try and keep the horse up 100%. So he'd be sacrificing his time on horseback to use the Holy Banner. The Akram's Rebuke chest for Condemn makes it buff the primary attack and hits the target an additional time and all nearby enemies as well. This serves as a dual purpose to not only count more hits towards the 4-piece grace bonus, but also being a buff means it will proc Bottled Hope more often than can be done when you just draw and quarter as the only buff, and lasts longer than other forms of Condemn due to any beneficial effect duration. Perhaps the nicest thing about Condemn is that you can cast while on the horse and it doesn't interrupt force to dismount either. That's totally true. You could run around with the horse with the Condemn around you, and you could use primary attack at the same time. Now, he talks about some recommended gems. The Blessed Pebble, of course, to make draw and quarter and all other beneficial effects last longer. It's also a nice, easy 1-star to rank up. He says Everlasting Torment, which adds yet another damage to enemies, whether you are hit a crit. Doesn't matter if it hits hard or not. Mother's Lament, which is one that he had maxed out. The Seeping Bile, which is going to be another damage over time effect. We have the Gloom Cask, a super strong gem just with a crazy amount of damage that it gives off. Bottled Hope, it's nice not only for the damage multiplier, but also a speed boost. And Pain Clasp, of course, will give you constant damage boost while everything is burning from draw and quarter. The last gem slot, he's using Fervent Fang or Blood-Soaked Jade. That's a good option for you. You can make your choice right there to see how it fits your build better. And he gives us a few tips to sum up the video. Awakened Shoulders with any rank 10 gem will give an additional 10% cooldown reduction on draw and quarter. Any skill cooldown reduction will greatly help to get closer to that 100% uptime on draw and quarter, and as well as more frequent casts from Condemn. You can get up to 5% skill cooldown reduction on the neck, both rings and hands, as well as a little more on the Bottled Hope gem too. And the last tip from Why Try, beneficial effect duration plays a huge role in as well. Can get up to a 7.5% on chest, legs, boost, and belt, with an additional 3% reforged stat on all 8 pieces of gear. Not to mention the 30% we already are getting from the 2-piece Vithu and the 12% on a rank 10 Blessed Pebble. This will increase the duration of draw and quarter, Condemn, and even your gem effects like Bottled Hope or Gloom Cask. This probably is the best stat in the game for any build, and highly recommend stacking whenever you can. Wow, he wrote me a booklet right there. I'm gonna put as much of that in the comment section as I can. And if you enjoy reading and learning, his Discord server has tons of information just like this. And of course, we'll be featuring him back on the channel again. Let me know what you think of this build, if you like it, after you, of course, test it out. And I'll see you guys in another video, because I know you've already decided to subscribe, so you won't miss it. I'll see you guys there.